Hello, hello, welcome back. I believe this is episode 11 of this Frosthaven campaign. The reason I think I know that is I actually produced a video for the first time because I wanted to be able to scan through and see whether I actually completed my combat goals last mission. So last episode I finished up the Crystal Trench, unlocked the derelict elevator and the ancient spire out here in the crystal fields to the east. And something I was curious about and couldn't remember was, one, whether my Bone Shaper had ever attacked an enemy that had already acted in the round, because I definitely stopped deliberately avoiding that happening toward the end of the mission. I just kind of forgot. It slipped my mind. So I looked through and I couldn't find any instances where I did. So that's the good news there. Then also, my Banner Spear, Zenya's Zephyr, was not meant to exit a room with loot tokens in it. And I realized toward the end of the mission, I was kind of like hanging out in this doorway. I'm going to give you like an instant replay here, actually. There was a loot token right here. Interesting. It's not what I thought would happen. I guess since I'm not in a mission with a loot deck. Drops a coin instead. Okay, whatever. Is it meant to drop a coin if there's no loot left? Wait, do they drop coins if there's no loot left? Huh. I don't know if that's real or not. Anyway, what happened was, in the last turn of the mission... Okay, first off, I was here, and then I walked out of the room at some point. That was actually okay. There was no loot in this room when I walked out of the room like that. However, on the last turn of the mission, second to last turn of the mission, I could use shadows to teleport places, and I had a move of 4. And instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4 and leaving, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, which means I was in this room and then left it. Now, I'm just going to say that I get the combat goal. My rule with this sort of stuff is if I haven't gained information that could realistically have changed the decision, if I realize I want to do something slightly differently, I'm okay with doing it slightly differently. And in this case, there is no information that I gained which would have made it so I wanted to move the way that lost me the combat goal instead of the way that didn't lose me the combat goal. Like, that's fine. And I don't have to like undo anything to achieve that or anything like that either. So we're going to say that I do get Miser. So first thing I want to do, finishing up the mission, let's go through our perk gains. We get 2 check marks here, and I thought I would work toward one siege scenario during your turn, gain 2 shield for the round. Seems like just a really nice thing to have access to. I don't have to like, I guess like another item that I can use basically. Something that I've been noticing with my Banner Spear is I don't feel like I'm drawing that many cards from my attack modifier deck. So changing my attack modifier deck doesn't feel like it's that important. Then Mukduk succeeded at Ravager. We performed 2 actions with lost icons on them in the same turn. And my thought with Mukduk was, I feel like robots might have shields. It would kind of make sense to me. So I'm going to replace 2+0 cards in my modifier deck with 2 Pierce 3 and redraw cards. I think this is the first time I've shown redraw cards off. So if I draw this, I will draw again. And I will take the effect of this plus the thing that I draw. There's some weird stuff that goes on if you're attacking with advantage or disadvantage, which we will get into when it comes up. I don't feel like I need to explain all of that right now. Next, XCOM succeeded at Vanguard. Never attack an enemy that has already acted in the round. So that's 2 more perk check marks here. And I thought it might be cool to try out replace 1/1 card with 1+0 and curse card. And did I already do that? Let me work this out. Okay, so I did not already do that, but now I am. So when drawn, this card will add 0 instead of -1 to the attack modifier, and will also put a curse in the enemy deck. I have a curse attack modifier card on Deathwalker already. I think it'll be better on my Bone Shaper because my Bone Shaper attacks are going to be lethal less often. And if you kill the enemy before trying to apply the curse, you don't actually get to apply a curse. So that seemed like it would be good. And then Achilles Tamir, who I called Achilles Tapir at the start of last episode, I think. So, whoops. Successfully killed an enemy in open door in the same turn in either order, which is the fifth mission in a row with a 2 checkmark combat goal succeeded, which is awesome on the one hand, but unfortunately I don't actually get another perk out of that this time, so that is too bad. As I return to town now, we can say scenario is 1 and get rid of all of the stuff. Okay, I already clicked on scenario was 1. As I return back to town, some of you may remember there was a bet. Makduk bet 10 gold that we would win the mission, and we did. So I get plus 20 gold. 2 gold for every 1 gold bet. Not terrible. And then I have all of my plans all set up, but first I have to see if the Outpost event changes anything. A group of soldiers bearing White Oak's insignia ride into Frosthaven on horseback. They drag a half-dozen sorry-looking men connected by a long chain. One of the soldiers drops from his horse, handing the reins to a waiting town guardsman. "Where's Mayor Grimlow?" Souther greets the soldier. "Dead. Algok's fist, or maybe it was the spear hole. Either way, I'm in charge now." The soldier grunts, sizing up the new mayor. "You contingent of prisoners, thieves, grifters mostly." Souther folds her arms. "We're not a prison. The people here stay by choice, and we don't have room for layabouts." The soldier brushes her off. "Put them to work. Put them to death for all I care. They're delivered, find a place for them. Unless you'd like me to execute them?" The soldier draws his sword and puts it to the throat of the nearest prisoner. Shall we go a step further and offer to house them in our longhouse? Gosh, I feel I've had this event once before and I did option B. Sure, YOLO, let's do option C. What's gonna happen? Are they gonna, like, I don't know. You know firsthand how difficult it can be to get a foothold in Frosthaven, and there's no need to kick these Elden welcome guests when they're already down. You offer them a place in your longhouse while they're getting settled. The soldiers resupply quickly and start heading back out the main gate. South invites them to stay the evening, but their response is short. "We've heard plenty of stories about the safety of this outpost, and we'll take our chances on the road. Good luck with the prisoners." We add 41.3 to the calendar in 3 weeks. Speaking of which, I should have checked that off, right? This is after mission 1, this is after the Algox, this is after the Crab mission, and this is after the Crystal Trench. Yeah. So 3 weeks from now, 41.3 would be 1, 2, 3, 41.3. It does feel kind of cool to get more stuff written on the campaign sheet, so we'll call this event a win just for that reason. Okay. With that being said, the next thing that we do in the Outpost phase is we work through all of our buildings, and I definitely want to buy a metal, a hide, and a lumber. And how I'm going to do this, I've been thinking like more and more about how I have 2 characters who have quests which require them to get a lot of resources, basically. So I'm going to put all of them onto my Banner Spear, who is trying to become a merchant, so needs a lot of items. And I'm going to try to stack all of my gold onto my Drifter, who is trying to have lots of gold. And these buildings, which proc only once per Outpost phase, are like one of the few ways that I have to transfer resources from my Bone Shaper and Deathwalker onto my Drifter and Banner Spear. Because my Bone Shaper and Deathwalker can pay the gold cost of the building activation, but then the resources can be given to my Banner Spear and Drifter. That's what I'm doing with the building phase, and then we have crafting to do. I have quite a lot of crafting to do this time. I'm going to craft an arrow vine and a snow thistle into a stamina potion. During your turn, reclaim a level 1 card from your discard pile. My assumption was that this would go on my Deathwalker, since my Deathwalker doesn't really have a great potion yet. Do I have... Okay, well, one observation is I start with 11 cards, so this is a way to take 6 turns before my first rest instead of 5. So that kind of helps with lining up with my Bone Shaper and Drifter. Although actually my Bone Shaper is only taking 5 turns now because I summon the Wraith before the fight starts. The question is, do I have a level 1 card that's very valuable to play twice? I think so. I have some decent ones for sure. Fluid Knight could be really good. Black Barrage could be really good. Forceful Spirits is the one that I was actually thinking could be really good. Yeah, okay. So, Stamina Potion seems okay, and I should subtract 1 Arrowvine and 1 Snow Thistle. Arrowvine, Snow Thistle from my character sheets. Next, we're doing some crafting at the store. I have quite a few more items unlocked than I did at the start of the campaign. We've unlocked a bunch of potions. In fact, I just unlocked another potion, which isn't here yet. I also have a lot more resources than I had at the start of the campaign. So, for Xenia Zephyr, I'm crafting hide armor and a protective scepter. So, some defensive items. For XCOM, I want a spyglass. During your attack ability, gain advantage on 1 attack. I think this is a pretty good helmet. It is nice to be able to guarantee that you're not going to crit fail. Sometimes there are attacks which are very important, and you really don't want them to crit fail. It does seem less good on my Bone Shaper than on some other characters, because my Bone Shaper's attacks on aggregate are less important. But on the other hand, my Bone Shaper, I think, makes more attack modifier rolls than the other characters, so we'll have more chances for there to be one that really matters probably over the course of the mission. And then I'm going to craft a Traveling Cloak for Achilles, my Deathwalker. Start of scenario, increase max hit point value by 1. Is a character I would like to be able to tank a hit every now and then. Isn't a character with the ability to reduce avoid. I guess the leather armor isn't here anymore. This stuff costs money. Avoid the -1 things on like regular armor. So I think a Traveling Cloak is a way to get a little bit tankier without exposing yourself to -1 modifiers for your attack modifier deck, which seemed like the way to do it. So, Traveling Cloak here. Crude hide armor here. Protective scepter here. That means I now have 1 item for chest. I have 2 out of 3 required items for hands. 2 out of 4 small items. I could have given the stamina potion here and gotten a little bit closer. I'm very close, actually, to finishing this quest. I'll probably finish this quest after the next mission. So if I get 2 bolt thrower kills, I could potentially have that quest done and this quest done in the same town phase. That's pretty exciting. I was not expecting merchant class to finish so quickly, but I need to buy 2 helmets, 2 chests, 2 boots, 1 weapon or shield, and 2 small items. And I have 6 resources here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 resources. I think everything costs like 1 or 2 resources at this point in the game, so with 6 resources and needing 9 things, yeah, like next Outpost Phase, pretty likely. Is that it? I think that might actually be it. That didn't feel like that much in the end. Oh, I do want to upgrade the craftsman as well. So upgrading my craftsman costs me 2 wood, 2 metal, and 1 hide. And so let's subtract 2 wood, 2 metal, and 1 hide. 1 wood, 2 wood, 1 metal, and 2 hide. Is that correct? Or was it the other way around? Oh my god. +1 hide, -1 metal. Okay, and then we get to hit upgrade craftsman. And when I upgrade the craftsman, I get +1 prosperity first. So we are 1 prosperity away from hitting level 2. Prosperity in the town. And we get to click on Unlock. We have unlocked new items. They've been placed next to the item deck. We get 5 new items. I was kind of struggling with what I was meant to do with this item specifically. Like, how am I meant to know if I have item 14, 85, and 90 in order to craft this? Because there isn't anywhere where I have, like, the number of the item showing, right? So obviously I'm me, so I made a spreadsheet. I want to bring that up on screen real quick. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to add my new items to it. So the idea is we have a column here and here and here, and we can write the numbers of the items that we need in here. And then when we unlock them, their name will automatically be filled in here. So item number 11, for example, is Dancing Slippers. After you suffer damage from an attack, perform a move of 2. It requires a hide and a snow thistle. I think that's a snow thistle craft. That's actually item 13. Dancing Slippers. I can't craft these this town phase because the building happens after all of the crafting finishes. But we now have these. Why is that 2 out of 2? I don't know. Crude chain armor. When you suffer damage from an attack, gain 2 shield for the next attack. So this would be nice to have on my banner spear and drifter, and we could have hide armor for the missions where we want disadvantage, and chain armor for the missions where we want shield, which are different missions, as we have already discovered. That one's 12, crude chain armor. A reinforced shield. When an enemy would apply a negative condition to you, prevent the condition. So the difference between this and crowed shield is that it gives 2 -1 cards instead of 1, and you tap it instead of losing it. So it refreshes on long rest. And it requires item 10 to build. Okay. And it is item 15. So we say reinforced shield. And then in the spreadsheet, we write ingredient 10. Which autofills to crude shield. Awesome. So it requires a crude shield and a lumber to build. Chain armor. A simple charm. At the start of the scenario, remove a -1 attack modifier card from your attack modifier deck. This is item 11. So the death-proof charm requires a simple charm to craft. Look at the power of this spreadsheet. Wonderful. And then there's a heavy sword is the last item that I have unlocked. This is item 14. And if I remember right, the slippery sword. Yeah, so the slippery sword crafts out of the heavy sword. That makes a whole lot of sense. Let's group these and toss them into the available items. Awesome. Craftsman done. So next time we're in town, we can craft some of those if we feel so inclined. But for now, there's another mission to do. And I think the plan must be to go look for the robotic bolt throwers who Achilles Tamir wants to kill. Try to get this Death Walker retired and find out what envelope 44 has inside it. And in order to do that, we want to head to the Crystal Fields. The Ancient Spire looks like the more involved of these two missions, and my tendency in this campaign has to be to go to the less involved thing first. Is that even true? I don't know. Another thing, though, that I noticed is that this is mission 15 and that's mission 16. So maybe I should do mission 15 first, because it's a lower number. I don't know. I've never done either of these missions. We're breaking new ground here. I am going to go for... Let's read in the mission book. And look in here at the scenario book. I'm I'm concerned that that's going to result in us seeing things that are spoilers and things, though. Let's go to the Spire. Whatever. I play Slay the Spire. Ancient Spire. Let's go. Before we do anything else, we have a road event along the way. So a summer road event, new event. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch a glimpse of a floating tuft of fur by the side of the road. As soon as you're certain of it, it's gone. You pause for a moment, then call out, asking if anyone is there. A shimmering cloak of invisibility is pulled down off an old vermling's shoulders. Cloak's getting a bit dusty, wearing out. He sits down, pulling a set of glass beads looped on a string from his pocket. Name's Dram. Don't suppose you've been looking for me. You can't say that you have, and tell him as much. Flips the beads around in his hand, lost in thought. Good, good. Do me a favor, will you? There's an Easter that's been hunting me for almost as long as I've been alive. If you run into him, would you point him the other way? I feel like we can do that, sure. I've done option A before. I think you get like 2 hides or something, whatever. Let's try option B. Ask for payment for services. You are a mercenary after all. Dram smiles. Not much to offer. Never had much myself. He explains that a persistent hunter, Malak, selected him from the infinite beings in the multiverse as his next kill. Most would roll over and accept the inevitable, but as Dram puts it, I've been dodging him for years. He may catch me eventually, but I have no interest in making it easy on him. Alright, payment for a service, but if you see him, you've never met me. We gain 15 collective gold. That seems fine. That seems pretty good. That seems better than 2 hides to me. 7.5 gold per hide, yeah. Seems pretty good. Put all the gold onto Mukduk immediately since we are trying to get up to 120 gold on this character. We're still quite a long way away. With that done, let's check out this scenario description. Oh my gosh. Robotic bolt shooter, ruined machine, chaos demon. Alright, am I looking for a bolt shooter? I'm looking for a bolt shooter. Alright, cool. So we've found them. I wonder how many there are. Oh, does that say it has 4 targets? Okay. This scenario is complete when the Chaos Lieutenant is dead. At the end of that round, read 70.3. Introduction. The Iron Spire towers over the barren wastes, riveted metal covered in a thick lens of ice. The thing stands taller than even the great sanctuary back in White Oak, cutting through the daylight and casting a long, foreboding shadow onto snowy plain like some nefarious sundial. The opening mechanism on the black iron door is wholly foreign, but with a good deal of tinkering and prying, you finally manage to force it open and are greeted by a sudden blast of arid heat. Inside is a wide, echoing chamber filled with cogs and pistons and dozens of scampering mechanical creatures. The creatures pay you no attention at all and instead hurry about, carrying armfuls of debris down a single immense hallway. Meeting no resistance, you make your way inside the tower and travel down the main hallway until it empties into a wide circular room where an enormous beam of sanguine energy crackles and hums, shooting up from the chamber's floor and piercing the ceiling. It's as if a small sun was harnessed and imprisoned inside this tower. This main chamber is filled with even more mechanical creatures. They still pay you no attention, but as some of them pass by, you manage to get a closer look at what they're carrying. And the sight of it cools your blood. Body parts, arms and legs and torsos, cut from all manner of animals, but you notice some Algox parts as well, are being carried about as if they were coal in a furnace room. The scale of the slaughter is staggering as you consider the number of automatons scurrying through the chamber, carrying their loads down a stairwell on the other side. Just then a ghastly-looking creature made of swirling prismatic smoke and a hard, gnarled shell moves out from behind a row of metal boxes and catches sight of you, releasing a high, visceral screech. "Mortal scum!" it yells. "You dare intrude here with your filthy blood. I will take pleasure in using your limbs to complete the cycle." The demon rakes a hand over a nearby panel of lights and, responding as one, the entire horde of automatons all cease moving. Their gruesome cargo drops to the floor and then, slowly, they advance toward you. All right. Special rules. The Chaos Demon is the Chaos Lieutenant, and it is immune to disarm and stun. At the end of each round, in addition to its normal turn in initiative order, it performs Heal Self X, where X is... Okay, L is level, and R is the number of ruined machines currently on the map, divided by 2. So if there are, say, 5 ruined machines on the map, and the mission is being played at level 3, it would heal itself for 7 at the end of each round, which is a lot. If I had poisoned it, that would completely stop that heal, but in general, it feels like killing the ruined machines first is probably a good idea. At the start of each even round, spawn C-1 normal ruined machines at C. C is characters, so 3 normal ruined machines at C. Okay? All hexes on tile 15. Hold on, let's look at the board. So this is C. So ruined machines are going to spawn from here. Wait, what is the rest of all of this? There's no door. How do I get out of this room? All hexes on tile 15D are treated as in range of any ranged abilities performed on tiles 1B and 6B, regardless of the actual range or line of sight. In addition, all hexes on tile 15D are considered the same distance away from tiles 1B and 6B for the purposes of focusing with ranged attacks. Okay. All hexes on tile 15D here are treated as in range of any ranged abilities performed on tiles 1B here and 6B here, regardless of the actual range or line of sight. So this is like a staircase balcony kind of situation, I guess is what I'm meant to interpret from that. In addition, all hexes on tile 15D are considered the same distance away from tiles 1B and 6B for the purpose of focusing with ranged attacks. Any character can spend 2 movement points to move from any hex A to B, but they cannot move from B to either A. When any character enters tile 1B here, 2H here, or 6B here, all characters can no longer teleport from tile 15D to any other tile or move from A to B. So I think what that has said in, it said a lot, but I think what it's communicating is one of my characters, and character is a specific thing. A character is one of my 4 party members. A monster is not a character. One of my summons is not a character. One of my characters can go onto here, but when one character does that, none of the other characters can anymore. The other 3 have to stay down here. So what I'm interpreting that to mean is basically one character can go and get this treasure chest, but the others can't. Okay? It continues. This is the scenario key. Oh, that's the chaos demon. Okay. So somebody has to go kill the chaos demon. We can also, incidentally, open the treasure chest, but the actual reason that we are caring about teleporting up here is to make melee attacks against the chaos demon. Oh, that's the next mission. Don't read that. Okay. Look at that. That's a chaos demon. That's pretty cool. That is some sweet art. Okay, what is the situation with the enemies as we start here? We have 5 bolt shooters. My Deathwalker wants to kill 2 of those. The chaos demon only starts with 18 health. Wait, and the scenario ends when I kill it? Scenario is complete when the Chaos Lieutenant is dead. Oh, wow. So this could be over in like 2 turns or something. 2H is not in range of 1B or 6B. But the second that this moves to here, I can start killing it with all of my ranged attacks. It only has 18 health and doesn't have any armor. I mean, I kind of think I can just one-shot that. Let me think about it. Like, my Deathwalker hits for Maybe I'd want my Drifter to go kill it. But my Drifter can go up here, and then like the top half of Vile Assault hits for 8 in one turn, and then there's the bottom half of Bloodletting for another 3. It's 11 damage from my Drifter in one turn. The rest of the party can easily deal 7. Okay, so that doesn't feel so bad. I guess there are two other things to consider. One is there is a chest I can try to get. I should definitely try to get that. And then there are these bolt shooters. That has 4 targets. That has 4 targets. That has 3 targets. Okay, so the non-elites have 3 targets. And the elites have 4 targets. Metal cabinets, control console. Alright, we're fighting some... Is this steampunk? I don't know. I don't know if this is steampunk. The bolt shooters attack for 2. The Chaos Demon attacks for 5 and confuses. And then the ruined machines are going to be spawning. Did that say at the start of every round? At the start of each even round. Respawn 3. Oh, wow. And the heal at the end of each turn is equal to the number of ruined machines times level. So if you spawn 3, level is 3, it's 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. Okay. Average party level is 2, which means scenario level is meant to be 3. Sounds right. Wow. This is going to be really fun. I have a variety of goals here. We've got subquest. Deathwalker tries to kill 2 bolt shooters. We've got subquest. Drifter goes up here and tries to open this treasure. And then we have to kill the Chaos Lieutenant without dying. And it looks like there are going to be a lot of bolt shooters shooting at me. I'm not sure what their typical range is on their attacks because I've never seen their deck. I'm certainly inclined to sneak a peek at their deck right now. That is absolutely the thing that I feel like doing. Should I or should I not? I think it's more exciting for viewers if I don't. All right. Well, on the other hand, if I lose the mission, I mean, I guess if you're watching on YouTube, you can just like fast forward. None of these combat goals look achievable for my banner sphere. Kill 5 or more enemies. That's gotta be too many enemies. Never have your hit point value drop below half your maximum hit point value. That seems kind of impossible. Occupy a door hex. There aren't any doors. So I guess we'll go for kill 5 or more enemies. Maybe I can do that. For my Drifter, move no more than 2 hexes on each turn. That is going to be very detrimental for getting to the treasure chest. Perform a long rest while at max HP value. That seems impossible. End the scenario with a hit point value of 3 or less. That is the one that feels the most plausible. Never use your lowest initiative played card as your initiative card. And each of your turns adjacent to a wall, obstacle, or objective. I think this is free. Is there a tile that I can move to that isn't next to a wall, obstacle, or objective? 1, 2, 3. The 3 in the absolute middle. But as long as I'm on any other tile, that is just free. And then kill 3 or fewer enemies. Have 0 cards in your hand each time you rest. Never enter a hex occupied by an ally, enemy, objective, or obstacle. I think I will try to have 0 cards in my hand each time I rest. Which is aided by this stamina potion that I got. Actually wouldn't be able to do that at all if I had an 11 card starting hand, huh? I guess if I lost a card to block damage, I could do it. But stamina potion makes it easier. This is the first time that my Deathwalker isn't going to be getting 2 perk checkmarks from a mission. Upsetting. Unpleasant. Oh well. Let me try to work out round 1, and we will see how this mission goes. It looks pretty sweet. This looks like it's going to be wild. I've actually changed my character decks around a decent amount because I'm caring more about cards which immediately do things versus cards which have like longer term output in this mission. Speaking of which, let's need to drop something from malicious conversion. I think I'll actually benefit from malicious conversion quite likely. All right, we'll we'll give this a go. The first thing that happens at the start of the mission is, oh god, I didn't even put my characters on their tiles yet. All right, this is just kind of a lot. The first thing that I'm doing at the start of the mission is I use my Bone Shaper's perk to summon a skeleton. In this case, though, yeah, it's going to be a skeleton, not a wraith. I'm going to throw my skeleton from life and death onto the board. And I will gain 1 experience for doing that. I take damage. I do. No. Because I think the wraith's gonna die if I throw the wraith down in the middle of anything. I don't actually know what the enemies do though, so I mean, let's find out. We got a Chaos Demon going first. Wait. Are you serious? No. It has 5 move. So we have a Chaos Demon moving 5. And then it's making... Please tell me that's a melee attack. Chaos Demon. No, it has range 2. Oh, good grief. It's going to move 5, get onto this tile, and then it can make an attack. I wonder how it decides who it targets. I guess since every tile's in range, it's going to target the Bone Shaper. And then it can also attack the skeleton and the Banner Spear, because it'll want to hit 3 things. That is so nasty. It attacks for 4 with Muddle. Okay. And it's hitting 3 targets. So first I'll hit my Bone Shaper. -1. 3. Muddle. It'll hit my... Hold on, I need to see what these are doing. They are moving, attacking, and shielding. Okay. It'll attack the skeleton. -2 on that, so actually doesn't kill it. And then against my Banner Spear, +1, so that's a hit for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is so gross. Wow. And then the bolt shooters go as well. So the bolt shooters are moving, making a lot of attacks, and then shielding themselves for 2. Which I don't love either. These can have 4 targets and have range of 4 on this attack. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this doesn't have to move to make 4 attacks. We start with Elite number 2. And I guess it starts by shooting at my Bone Shaper, who is on 2 health. Hold on, I need to think about whether I need to burn a card with my Bone Shaper. Like, maybe I do. I'm down to 2. I think I have to burn a card to not take damage from the Chaos Demon's attack, even though it only hit me for 3. Because I'm about to get attacked another, like, you know, 7 times or whatever. These attacks are only for 1 damage each. But still... 1, 2, 3. terrifying. Terrifying, terrifying, terrifying. Actually, having a Wraith right now would be really good. Because all of these attacks could hit a Wraith, and the Wraith has 2 shield innate. Oh well. Did I take the card that lets me get a shield for the mission? I did, and I could even play it this turn. Unbreakable Wall. The bottom half of this is a persistent 1 shield for the rest of the mission. But our ranged attacks have 1 less range, which doesn't matter because our ranged attacks are always in range of the Chaos Demon. This is just so different from the other missions I've played so far. This is the thing that I love about this game. Like, the missions are so different from each other. I think I will... They all have 4 range. And as soon as a skeleton dies, I'm not going to be able to have them not shoot up my Bone Shaper. Oh, my Bone Shaper also just has lowest initiative in the team, doesn't it? So my Bone Shaper will always be the target. Okay, yeah, I have to lose a card to protect myself from taking 3. So let's lose Wrath of the Turned Earth. Seems okay. And now that I understand the situation a bit more, I think I actually will use Warden's Robes to protect my skeleton's 2 health. Okay, now we're back to the Bolt Shooters moving. So we start with Bolt Shooter Elite 2, which is going to attack here, 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 and here, and we'll start with the Bone Shaper. It's a +0, so it hits for 1. Then we'll go Skeleton +2. Dead. So I wasted my Warden's Robes. Next, the Banner Spear, 0, so 1. And then the Deathwalker, +0, so 1. And then it shields itself for 2. Nasty. Now this thing. If it moves forward 1, it can now hit everything. Attacks my Bone Shaper first, +0, so 1. Drifter, -1, so 0. Banner Spear, -1, so 0. Deathwalker, 1. Okay, 1 more Elite. If it moves... Wait, how does it say move for 1, but then it can't actually move? It did not occur to me that these might not actually be able to move. What a weird ability to have then. Okay, well, I guess it can't attack these ones. So, hold on. The last 3 attacks I need to undo. So, 1, 2, 3. I think the only one that actually dealt damage was to my Deathwalker. I will reshuffle. This one didn't move. Okay. So now this elite actually 1, 2, 3, 4. It can't attack my Drifter, but it can attack the others. So we're going to attack the Bone Shaper first, +0, so 1 damage. And my Banner Spear, -1, no damage. Then my Deathwalker, +1, so 2 damage. Okay. Next up, these only have 3 targets. The regular enemies. So this one's going to attack my Bone Shaper. It's a crit. So that would hit for 2. I have to burn a card. Jeez Louise. Use Transfer of Essence, since I don't know how I'm ever going to have health to use that. Attacks my Drifter. -1, no damage. Then my Banner Spear, +1, 2 damage. Banner Spear's on 4. And then this Robotic Bolt Shooter can hit everything. No damage to my Bone Shaper, thankfully. Drifter, +0 is 1 damage. Crit miss on my Banner Spear, 2 damage to my Deathwalker. Wow. That has just happened. Okay. I mean, in theory, I'm not dead yet, but that sure changed my opinion, I guess, of what I should be doing this turn. Like, I am now thinking maybe going early in the turn order so I could have used a Protective Scepter might have been a good idea, right? All right, let's take a look at the Bone Shaper's turn. I'm going to summon a Wraith. Also, I'm feeling like summoning the Wraith on turn 1 is definitely a good idea. So we will right click to summon and put a Wraith here. And I can use the bottom half of Bone Dagger. Except that all the enemies have 2 shields, so there's not really any way that I can kill any of them. But I can put a curse in their deck. And also, well, yeah, I mean, I guess they're reshuffling their deck immediately because they drew, I think, both the crit miss and the crit hit. So the end of round, they will reshuffle. We can add a curse, and just in case this dies somehow, which it won't, if it did, I would get to summon a skeleton. This is my Bone Shaper's turn. My Deathwalker. I really thought this would be, like, leisurely, and then sure wasn't. I guess I should hide as much as possible from all of these shooters. We're gonna go here. I'm going to poison the enemy adjacent to me. I'm gonna play Call to the Abyss, which lets me mark enemies for death and stuff, although kind of getting the sense that this mission might be so fast that that doesn't have a chance to do anything. With my Drifter, I'm using Sustained Momentum and Crushing Weight, so my melee attacks hit for 2 more, and my moves are for 2 more tiles. And finally, I'm going to move my Banner Spear. So I had a big plan. I'm not sure I like it very much anymore. Gosh, in order to actually get to that, I have to go a long way, huh? Maybe the better plan is just to try to one-shot the Chaos Lieutenant. Well, we can look into that next turn, I guess. How do I make a shadow next turn? I don't even have a shadow. Holy shit! I'm going to use the bottom half of Unbreakable Wall, I guess. So this gives me 2 experience. The card is done. It gives me 1 shield for the remainder of the mission. I kind of forgot that I had all of these. Like, I could have used Heater Shield. I could have used Hide Armor, maybe. I'm going to say I used Heater Shield on 1 of the incoming damage, so I'm at 1 higher health. The top half of Combined Effort doesn't do anything then. My plan had been to move forward, bring somebody else with me, command my Drifter to move 4, and then, like, be in a good situation to do a lot of killing, but holy moly, that sure didn't happen. That's the end of round 1. This looks like maybe it's meant to be a bit of a suicide mission kind of situation. So I think round 2, we're just gonna, like, kind of go for it. I think I have a cheese here. You and all allies may treat each hex with a shadow as being adjacent to each other hex with a shadow during move abilities. Doesn't that mean I can teleport? I mean, I'm not teleporting, I'm walking. This is, like, extremely, extremely particular reading of the rules. All hexes on tile 15D are treated as in range of any ranged abilities performed on tiles 1B and 6B. So I could put a shadow up here and a shadow in here. And then I could immediately just move everyone through to up here. Are in range of any ranged abilities performed on tile. Okay. So I can get my entire party up here then. The problem with doing so is I think it actually makes my party die faster in this case. Like, the appeal of doing that in my mind at first was, oh, the things here can't shoot up there. But that just isn't true. That's just completely backwards. The things here can shoot everything up here. So I guess that cheese is available, but is not perhaps exciting. But I think I will send my drifter through regardless. So we're gonna make some shadow portals and see what happens. Okay, round 2. I don't think this will be as bad as round 1 was, but we'll find out. What are the bolt shooters doing? They do move this time. And they are attacking at range 5, again with -1 attack. If they ever attack with not -1 attack, like everyone dies. They are piercing 2 this time, which I guess means that Wraith that I summoned is just going to immediately die. Chaos Demon is going to do another AoE attack. And I sure do have every single one of my characters standing in a circle again. Okay, this one isn't quite as bad. Actually, well, hold on. This one only works if it's standing next to me, I believe. That's not a ranged attack. So I think this time it actually can't attack. And I don't believe it can teleport from B to A either, so I think it just stands there. I'm going to check the rules one more time, because this is a very weird mission. Yeah, there's no way for it to like get to me to attack me if it's doing that move. Okay, cool. Maybe I just got very unlucky with what it did on turn 1. None of my people are muddled anymore, because the round has ended. So, I'm going to start with my Deathwalker, who is going to use Eclipse to place 3 shadows and hexes within 3 range. And remember, all the stuff up here is within range of all the stuff down where I am. So I can go shadow to there. And I can also put a shadow maybe, oh, under me probably. So everything attacking me has disadvantage. That feels right. And then a shadow under the drifter. So my drifter can teleport. Because the second thing I'm going to do is use the bottom half of Deepening Despair. You and all allies may treat each hex with a shadow as being adjacent to each other hex with a shadow during move abilities this round. That also, no, the bottom half of that channel is dark, but not, or the top half does, but not the bottom half. But anyway, we already have dark channel 3 times this mission or something. Okay, that's my Deathwalker's turn. Chaos Demon, I don't believe that the Chaos Demon moves, because it can't even draw a line to a tile that it could make this attack from. So I believe it just passes. Now I have a Banner Spear. So I already have 1 shield, and I was going to use the bottom half of Deflecting Maneuver to have another 2 shield, which is actually enough shield to be like taking 0 damage from these attacks. So I guess I'll do that. Oh, it's round 2. This mission's so wild. At the start of each even round, spawn C -1 normal ruined machines at C. So ruined machine, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What do they do? Hopefully it isn't earlier in the turn than this. Okay. They're going to move and attack. Kind of a big attack. They have 2 movement. So they're only moving 1 tile. It's not that big a deal. Also, they have 6 health. Ooh, I'm starting to get some ideas. I'm definitely starting to get some ideas. Only 6 health. Those are quite killable. Some AoE attacks. Alright. Good roll on their intent. So I'm going to take 2 shield against ranged attacks, and I'm going to chuck a javelin. I think at this robotic bolt shooter here, robotic bolt shooter number 1, unless I want to let my Deathwalker kill it. Although, no, I don't think I can do that. I think it's representing a bit too much damage. Okay, so we'll check a javelin at it. Oh, it's a crit. It's dead. Good stuff. Channels air. Now, time to get a little out of line. My Drifter is going to use Shockwave, and we have sustained momentum, so it's a move for 2 more than usual, but I mean 1, 2, 3. Doesn't seem to matter very much. And then I'm going to use Crushing Weight. Before I use Crushing Weight, I will use my Poison Vial. During your turn, poison something in 1 range, like so. And then I will use Crushing Weight to make a melee attack with Fortitude. This is a melee attack for 5 damage. I am not muddled anymore. 7 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 1 for the poison. Can we just talk about how strong this card is? I am here, I think, at least 2 turns before I would be without this card. And it feels quite likely that I will kill the Chaos Demon next turn. That's kind of a big deal. I might wait a turn to open the treasure chest while all of my friends are dying. Okay. Bone Shaper's turn. First thing that happens is the Wraith attacks this bolt shooter here. Ooh, plus they're on a curse. Alright, cool. So 1 damage. And the enemies add a curse to their deck. Did I shuffle this? It's not a huge deal either way. I'm pretty sure it auto shuffles at the start of the mission. I believe I did. And then I guess what I'm going to do, I have a move 2 and move my summons 2. I'm going to move here. I'm going to move my Wraith back, but I mean, it's going to die anyway. Not a big deal. And then I'm going to Spyglass. During your attack ability, gain advantage on 1 attack. And I'm attacking with Malicious Conversion, which will channel Earth as well. First time I've used this card this campaign. At least the top half of it. If this attack kills a target, immediately play a card from your discard pile to perform a summon action of the card, reducing any damage you suffer by 2. So we are attacking Robotic Bolt Shooter 5 with advantage, plus 1 or minus 2. I'll take the plus 1. It's at 5 health. It dies. And because it dies, this card is burned, by the way. Because it dies, I get to perform the summon ability of Life and Death. And it doesn't deal me any damage. I'll throw a skeleton here. And the skeleton, to be clear, will just immediately die. But you know what? It's trying its best. Trying its best. Alright, Robotic Bolt Shooters go. So we killed the non-elites. There are 2 elites still. I have failed to kill any of them with my Deathwalker. Let's focus more on like my Deathwalker not just being dead, and less on whether we've killed enough of them with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can all make all the attacks that they want to make without having to move. All of them are going to prioritize the Deathwalker. They all have 4 targets. They're all attacking for 1 with each attack, though. So first, number 2, attacking a Deathwalker has a disadvantage on the attack because my Deathwalker is in a shadow. Crit or 0. I'll take 0. Next, it's going to attack, I guess, the Banner Spear. -1. Oh, that's not with disadvantage. Let's put the +1 back in the deck. -1 does deal 0 damage, though. Next, we'll go against the Skeleton. +0, so that hits for 1. And then I have to decide if I want my Wraith to just immediately die or if I'm going to try to keep it alive. I guess we keep it alive. So attack the Bone Shaper for 1. Okay. That's number 2 done. Then 3. First against the Deathwalker. +0, so 1 damage. Then against the Banner Spear, +1, so 1 damage. Then against the Skeleton, -1, so 0 damage. Then against the Bone Shaper, +1. We burn a card. I will never really use that because I don't have any health. And then the last one, number 6. Against the Deathwalker with disadvantage, +0, so 1 damage. Against the Banner Spear, -1, so 0 damage. Against the Skeleton, +1. +1 kills it. And then against my Bone Shaper, -1. Okay. Okay. I feel like it could have been worse. The Ruined Machines go now. Number 1 moves forward. Actually make it move forward there if I want. It still gets it just as much closer to the Bone Shaper. Then number 3 can move here, and number 9 actually can't move closer. That seems like the best way to make it so they kind of trip over themselves. They're only moving 1 tile a turn. Alright. End of round, the Chaos Demon heals itself, which does that. And we go to round 3. I'm going to take a short rest here with my Bone Shaper. I only have 3 cards, but there aren't that many cards that I want to play. Oh, that's the one that I want to play. All right, so I'm going to reroll this. That requires me to lose a card because I'm at 1 HP. But I just really wanted to get Flow of the Black River back for 18 initiative. It's purely for the 18 initiative. I just want to go before the enemies go because otherwise I'm dead. Like, I'm just gonna take way too much damage. As we begin round 3, I would like to note the scenario is complete when the Chaos Lieutenant is dead at the end of that round. Read 70.3. All right, let's go. Start round. We got Deathwalker, Banner Spear, Bone Shaper, Drifter. The Bolt Shooters are doing nasty things. More shooting. The Ruined Machines are getting in contact with me. The Chaos Demon, if it were alive, would do some nasty stuff too. I think if the Chaos Demon hadn't rolled the ranged attack that it had on round 1, I think this would have felt just much smoother. This card is lost at this point. Okay, so first up, my Deathwalker goes. No more Ruined Machines, by the way. I'm going to play Strength of the Abyss. Once doing each of your move and attack abilities, you may remove a shadow within 3 range to gain an experience and add things. And I'm going to use Anger of the Dead. And with Anger of the Dead, I'm going to remove 1, 2 shadows. One of them this way. So that gives me 2 experience. And we can mark this for death, I guess. Why not? I'm going to be attacking this. So it starts at 2, +1 for the shadow remove with Anger of the Dead, and +2 for this shadow remove. Ends up at 5. -1 is 4. Next, my Banner Spear is going to go. I'm going to summon myself a Banner of Strength. It gives me 2 experience. And then I'm going to chuck a Driving Inspiration, a different banner, I guess, at this Chaos Lieutenant with advantage. +2 or a crit. I'll take a crit. Take 6. It is dead. Okay. I can shoot back. End of this round, the mission will end. So... wow. What a mission. What a mission. On my Bone Shaper's turn, I guess my Wraith will come forward and shoot at a ruined machine. Deals 2. And then I will use... should probably be looting, right? Yeah. I'll move here to pick up loot. Grant a summon a move of 2. You know what, you can move there, why not? And I will then give my Wraith an attack on Ruined Machine 1 again. +0 is another 2 damage. End of turn, I get a loot! Oh my gosh, if it's a potion resource. Ooh, 22 loot in this deck? Wow. This scenario is very much set up for you to play it very differently from how I have played it, huh? Alright, well that's not what I did. I think if the Chaos Demon doesn't make the ranged AoE attack on turn 1, putting a lot of my people on Death's Door right at the start, possibly a lot of this goes very differently. Have I... did I, like, stand here? I think I stood there. Yeah, I think it's okay. What's this? End the scenario with 3 hit points or less? Not doing that. Sadist, not doing that. Accountant? Well, I haven't rested, so I guess that's still doing fine. My Drifter now. Can't really do a lot, huh? I am going to move to here and open the chest. Hopefully the chest will make this all worth it. We got for ourselves, gain Chaos Cannon Blueprint 77. Chaos Cannon. Locked items. Unlock Chaos Cannon. During your turn, will replace one hex obstacle, hazardous terrain, difficult terrain, or icy terrain tile in an unoccupied hex within 2 range with a different type of tile listed above. Cool. So an obstacle is impassable. A hazardous terrain deals you damage if you end your turn next to it. Difficult terrain costs 2 movement to move onto, and icy terrain you slide past. So I could turn an obstacle into icy terrain, for example, and then instead of not being able to pass it, I would, in fact, be able to move onto it and slide immediately to the stuff on the other side of it. That's a pretty cool item. Chaos Cannon. Number... wait, what? Why doesn't it say which item it is? Weird. Alright, it goes in available items. 77 is what it is. Very cool. Having finished that, the mission's actually over. Like, I can let them shoot at me, but it doesn't do anything, does it? Here's the deal. I can read the page here, and if it matters, then I'll let them shoot at me, but probably it would just be irrelevant. What's going to happen is I'm going to like burn a bunch of cards with my Bone Shaper. My Bone Shaper may still be alive at the end, probably won't be. And yeah, like Deathwalker may very well die as well. Banner Spear should be okay. 70.3. It's over. The demon lies ruined beneath you, its life ebbing slowly out, but still it speaks. Your efforts mean nothing. Our machinations are ageless. We will gather our power and turn this world to ash. Its glossy eyes swivel toward the tower above, and a terrible smile curls over its face. Even now, my kin prepare to destroy you mortal upstarts and your failed outpost. The demon tries to laugh, but the effort pushes it over the edge. The creature's body swells and then sinks down, breaking its physical barriers and dissolving into a slick of prismatic fluid that seeps through the grates below you, leaving only a greasy smear behind. However, with the demon's passing, you notice that the machines, what few were still hanging on, suddenly drop to the floor dormant. A connection, perhaps, between them and the infernal creature. Taking stock of the chamber again, you find 2 points worthy of inspection. First is a stairwell leading down, where a number of the automatons had been carrying their cargo when you first entered. Second, the beam of light. Standing close to it, you can feel its sickly energy radiating outward, and yet there's a warmth to it that is not entirely repellent. It's like some immense tropical waterfall flowing in reverse. Acting on a hunch, you grab a hunk of ruined machine from the floor and toss it into the light. It hovers there, begins to fall, and then vanishes from sight. A second later, you hear a soft metal clang from somewhere up above, and you understand. Teleportation magic is a fickle thing, but if you decide to investigate the upper levels of this tower, at least you now have a way up. We get 3 collective crafting resources, so those will all go toward our character who is trying to become a merchant. And we unlock scenarios 23 and 24. 23 and 24. And these are linked scenarios, and it doesn't say that doing one prevents doing the other. We also can see from this that they both terminate in the same thing. So I think what I'll do, this has ended up being like a little bit short. I was thinking that I'd only play the first room of this mission and then it ended in 3 rounds. I think what I will do is I'm probably going to do the Spire basement. I don't know. Like, my intuition's just that I want to do the Spire basement more. Random treasure unlocked. Yeah, there's a random treasure in the loot deck, but I got, what, 0 loot cards? 1 loot card. I think I will wind up this episode now. Let's just really quick take a look. That didn't happen. This didn't happen. Wallflower did happen, I believe. So I'll have to decide on a perk for my Bone Shaper. And Accountant certainly happened as well. So a perk for my Bone Shaper and a perk for my Deathwalker. I will decide that before the start of the next episode. And I'll do all of the end of mission stuff, and then we just go straight into another mission. No time to go back to town. It's just second mission of the expedition straight away.